know the why human trafficking work is needed, to fight for the freedom of modern-day slaves. But love, passion, commitment isn't all you need to be an effective and successful anti-trafficking advocate. Learn the how. I'm Dr. Celia Williamson, Director of the Human Trafficking and Social Justice Institute at the University of Toledo. Welcome to the Emancipation Nation podcast, where I'll provide you with the latest and best methods, policy, and practice discussed by experienced experts in the field so that you can cut through the noise, save time, and be about the work of saving lives.
Lisa Belton's with us today, and so we just celebrated Memorial Day. What was your favorite part of Memorial Day?
Oh, the barbecue. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My Aunt Carmelita actually makes the best barbecue I've ever tasted. Like better than any restaurant. It's really good. Although I will say my favorite part this year is when the family talked about your near drowning experience.
Yes. So everybody knows that I can't swim, but I absolutely just love water.
Yes. I mean, both statements are true. She can't swim and she loves water. And so this combination has resulted in about 28 swimming lessons over the years.
Yes. I have signed up for 28 swimming lessons. I took them. And this year, I actually am signing up for 10 more.
What? Okay. Well, I think at this point, you're going to have to tell us you're going to have to tell us the story.
Yeah. Well, I almost drowned a few times, but I say that I'll talk about the first time was when I was with Carmelita, my sister, and we went to Bally's. And back then, Bally's was like the exercise place to be. I mean, it had a sauna, a steam room, it had a full-length swimming pool. You know, it was like the premier place. And there were a lot of people that really didn't need to be there. They just really looked good. They didn't need to be at Bally's. But we went there, we exercised, we did all the things. And then we finished it off by getting in the hot tub. And, you know, everybody is sitting along the edge around in a circle in this hot tub. And I'm stepping down into the hot tub. And Carmelita's already taken her seat on the edge of the hot tub. And I didn't realize that there was one more step. And so I thought I had reached the bottom and there was another step. It went a little deeper and I fell into the hot tub and began to drown. So, all I really had to do was stand up, but I was in a panic. So I was like slapping water and swallowing water and just really, really drowning.
Yeah.
And so no one came to my rescue. They were all just kind of sitting around in a circle. I'm sure puzzled. Why is this woman drowning?
Drowning in 2 feet of water.
Absolutely. And my sister did not. She sat on the edge, like just as if she didn't even know me anymore. So finally, I got the wherewithal to stand up. I realized my feet were under me. I stood up, and again, no one did anything or said anything. And I kind of just really fixed my hair, wiped the water from my face, and I just very dignified went and sat down next to Carmelita.
Well, you stayed in the hot tub. You didn't leave the hot tub.
Absolutely. I stayed. And then Carmelita kind of leaned next to me and said, I will never come to Bally's with you again. And so, yeah, that was the Bally. And then after that, I took a bunch of swimming lessons.
And so as of today, can you swim?
Oh, hell no. No, absolutely not. But the moral of the story is that I signed up to take more swimming lessons because I'm determined to do it. So that puts me in the mind of our guest today, actually, because it's a great segue, right? Because They are Matthew Clarke and Bella Rossini, and they're in Australia. So I love her name, and I love the fact that they're in Australia. And they are also determined to make a difference, actually, in the world. And so they are taking their kind of unique talents and skills and merging them together to make a really cool difference. She's very creative. He's a very thoughtful researcher, and together they're really just a powerhouse of goodwill. And their vision is very worldly, not just a vision for their own community. So it's really quite interesting. It's inspiring. So take a listen to my interview with Matthew and Bella. Welcome to the Emancipation Nation podcast. This week, we have Matthew Clarke and Bella Rossini, and they're doing some amazing work. They have a project called Turning Teardrops into Joy, and it's a loose structure through which Matthew and Bella support various international development projects. It started in 2018, and they developed a project focusing on anti-slavery called Freedom Keys Research. So Freedom Keys Research investigates the gap between what's already being done to end modern slavery and what still needs to be done. The project focuses on understanding and undermining the role played by perpetrators, which includes slave owners, human trafficking, and others who benefit from slavery. So this is an angle that too often we don't get involved in, and we really need to get involved in that angle as well if we want to end human trafficking. So I'm so glad that you all are here. So welcome.
Thanks so much, Celia. Yeah, this is great. We're across the other side of the world in Australia, and it's morning here and evening for you, but it's great to be in the same room virtually with you. So thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about how you got involved in this type of work.
Yeah, look, that's a long story. Bella's got a bit of the story and I've got a bit of the story. I've been involved in international development work for 20 or 30 years in different forms, in peacemaking and in child poverty reduction. And through working with children in poverty, I realized about 5 years ago how prevalent various forms of slavery still were in the world. And so that made me want to get a bit more informed and involved. I particularly was interested in the online sexual exploitation of children that has a huge marketplace that focuses in the Philippines. Visited the Philippines to see what was happening there and decided that we should do something ourselves in our own small way. And it is a very small project that we're running, a very small organization that we can talk a bit more about later, to do what we could to local community and to have some sort of influence around the world so that people everywhere have the opportunity to flourish.
That's awesome. And Bella, how did you get involved?
Oh, wow. I actually Turning Teardrops into Joy, I'm just going to clarify this a little bit. Actually started about 12 years ago, but the Freedom Keys part was in 2018. So it's sort of like we've got this umbrella covering, and it has different arms. And the first arm I started about nearly is 12 years ago when I think about it now. A lovely nurse friend of mine contacted me. She used to live in community with me years ago when she was training. And she said, Bella, I need someone to raise some funds for a maternal training program in Ghana, Africa. There's a group of us Australian midwives have had a little maternal clinic built. So that had already been raised funds and built, but we need this sense of being able to train some local folk, and it can be a male or a female. It doesn't have to. In Ghana, it's interesting. They have male midwives in this particular village, but we need some funds to help this village be able to then be self-sufficient and operate their own clinic. And so I thought, okay, I had this gorgeous little teardrop caravan that I used to go camping in. And I thought every time I went out in it, people would stop and say, can I take a photo of that? That is just so gorgeous. And I thought that is very attractive to the eye. And I've got a few different backgrounds, got a dental background and a hospitality background. And I thought, oh, I could get back into hospitality. I'm going to turn that little teardrop caravan into a coffee cart and literally go on the road and start selling coffee. And why I sell coffee, I can then be an advocate for what's happening in Ghana. And then the third stage of that project, so they've built the maternal clinic, then this training program, and I went to Ghana. I actually went over there. It's the only time I've been. I'd love to go again, but for the cost of getting there, you can't go now anyway, but the cost of going there, we could train another midwife. So I thought, they don't really need the white people over there being saviors. They're doing a really good job themselves. And but I did go to help them choose the training facility where the midwifery training would happen. And anyway, so many stories. Set up. And then our third stage there, which we're about to embark now, is taking them from aid to trade. So some of the funds that we raise will now be helping them set up a sustainable commercial enterprise so they take over completely. So our goal was within 10 years to have them from aid to trade. It'll be 12. It'll be about 12 years. So that's how I got started in that. And then I met Matt along the way. So we've only been married a few years. We're
awesome.
time rounders, which is really lovely. And I guess then Matt's influence helped me see that it was really important, this aid to trade concept. And then together we shared that same heartbeat of looking at how we can end modern slavery.
I love that you all are doing it together. That is. And I really love the concept aid to trade. And so you use your coffee sales. I mean, you really marry a lot of your skills together, but how do you use coffee to tell me about who you sell it to, where you sell it, and how do you use those proceeds to then fund some of the work that you're doing?
Yeah, so my business model is a sustainable social enterprise. So I've come from a history where charity work is about not-for-profit. We're sort of a bit scared of profit. I'm not really driven by money. And I've learned to live on a smell of an oily rag through lots of other reasons in my life. So I have the ability to just eke through life. But this gave me the impetus, I guess, to say, I'm going to look at my business differently. And I went and did some training with TDI, the Difference Incubator in Melbourne, and they talk about the sustainable social enterprise. So your charity work is not reliant on government grants or people's donation. If you get those, that is wonderful. But if they fall over, then your work falls over. So if you build a sustainable enterprise, don't be frightened of profit. But the first question you ask yourself at every decision is anyone being exploited here? Everyone must be blessed in the process. And then you can be confident. You can even pay your taxes. It's okay to make money in your business because you've got to drive on the roads, educate your kids, go to the hospitals. Profitability doesn't have to be a dirty word. And it did change my whole way of being more confident in business. And also, I needed to make this business work. I had signed a contract to train this girl in Ghana to pay for her scholarship. And so when in that early stage of business, when you think, I'm just going to give up, this is hard. No, that's my driver. That's my sort of way of doing business. And under all of that is build community, the coffee sales will come. So that's what I endeavored to do. Wherever I put my little coffee cart down, whether it was just for a day at an event, it always looked outrageously gorgeous. Or whether, like what I've done now, is I've set that little coffee cart up in a little tiny warehouse behind a shop. And so people come to me now rather than me go out to events. Though we do have a second coffee cart that we can take out to events as well. So build community, coffee sales will come. And it's outrageous. I have a ball. I love going to work. I have a job that I don't need a holiday from. Yet later on, we'll talk about how I have to learn to have a holiday. So I can sustain what I do, but I really do love it. I'm passionate about people. I love coffee. I'm using something which people love and it is a growing trend to grab a coffee on your way to work. But people just love to come and gather and chat. And I get the customers all getting to know each other and talking to each other. You know, I have a queue of people over Easter, and it was starting to get a long queue, and I'm thinking, oh, people are waiting about 10 minutes or so. So the next thing I do is, okay, everyone out there, talk to someone you don't know, talk about the best place you've ever been on holiday, because you can't go there for a while, you know. And we have
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and do the people know that when they buy the coffee, where some of the proceeds are going?
Yes. And over time, we probably talk about it less and less in some ways, because people just sort of know about it. We have a beautiful pottery jar that a friend made that says turn teardrops into joy, and people can put extra donations into that, and they do. They love it. But we do have posters, and we have evenings where we gather people together, and we have barbecue. We've had a film night. We've had a music night where we come and we use that as a space, as a platform to talk about our work and what we do. So the bulk of our customers are already on board. They know as they support us, then they are supporting that project. And the great thing is, like, for a year, last year, we had to go to Tumut, where I grew up, a little town. My mum died suddenly. We went off to Tumut.
Bella's good at long stories.
But I'm just saying, but if you build community, this is an example, if you build community, we went away for a year. Now, we took around the coffee cup, built a little coffee community down there, and I've left a wonderful business there and blessed them. And then we brought my dad back, so he now lives with us here. But that business survived because the people were committed to us and what we were doing, and they knew why we had to go away. We were coming back, and it did survive over that. So I think building community is the strength of our business. That's where I was going. I could have just said that, but that's the background.
No, it is, because it's getting that mixture of the local community and strong relationships at the grassroots in a local community, but with a view that you're doing some social good that has a global reach. So we are trying to get that mix right. Bella's an absolute expert at building spaces where community develops, and that we can then use that as a platform for advocating for change in slavery, and using the money that's raised to not only support ourselves, so it's sustainable for us, but is generating enough money that we can do some social good in other projects.
Wow. Well, I'm so sorry to hear about your mom, but that you had a community willing to come back because they knew, the product's good, the cause is good, it's win-win. So I love that idea. Now, Matthew, you sort of roll in your expertise in that you are now conducting research with do you use some of the funding to fund some of your research, or how does that work? And what type of research are you doing?
So Bella earns enough money from selling coffee that I don't have to have a paid employment. So the funds that she raised releases me to be involved in some anti-slavery research. And we do have a circle of friends and family that chip in some money as well, to pay for resources and travel and things. So the nature of our research is still really in its early stage for what we'd like to achieve. But we started thinking, what is not yet being done in the area of stopping trafficking. So in the last 20 years, a huge amount of money and literally thousands of organizations have been trying to do their bit to eradicate human trafficking, and yet the problem persists. And so we've been thinking, well, what else might be done in the next 20 years that might be more effective or build on what's been done in the last 20 years? And as we looked at that, a gap that we kept seeing was that very few organizations pay very much attention to the role of the people who perpetrate abuse and exploitation. And there are other important things to be done, policy changes and dealing with survivors to give them the best possible opportunities, and reducing the vulnerability of people to being exploited. So there's a preventative side. All of that's very important. But we did a survey of anti-slavery organisations, an online survey, and 147 organisations filled in an online questionnaire. And what we found from that, we were looking at how they went about strategic planning, and particularly what roles did perpetrators of slavery have in their strategic thinking. And just to quote a couple of items from what we found back there, that only 20% of anti-slavery organisations have a documented theory of change that even mentions perpetrators. So these organisations are trying to bring about change, and they have some sort of model of how change works, but the people who are perpetuating abuse and exploitation don't even have a place in that role. That seemed like a significant gap. Only a similar amount, 27% of organisations have programs that address the motivations and drivers of perpetrators. And yet we found that 57% of organisations actually do directly engage with perpetrators. So in general then, many organisations don't have a thought through position with regard to the perpetrators of human trafficking. And although they find themselves dealing with perpetrators, they do that without any prior theoretical framework or any organisational interest or intentional organisational capacity to deal with it. So we thought, well, that needs some more consideration. If we don't understand why slaveholders and traffickers and people who benefit from slavery, why they're doing what they're doing, if we don't understand their motives, the internal motives and the external drivers that pressure them, then how do we ever think that we're going to change those behaviours? And that really needs to be the ultimate goal of the anti-trafficking movement. It's to change the perpetrators' behaviours so that they stop doing it. But if we don't understand why they're doing it, then how will we ever motivate that change?
Yeah.
So that's been the direction of the research.
That is a great, because if we keep attending to supply, there's going to be an endless supply of victims. If we're not attending to the root of some of the roots of the problem, some of the demand side of it, I love that idea, because that idea and being able to expose our weaknesses in the movement, that's a major weakness. So how long did it take you to do that, the research?
So it's been going now for 3 years, and a lot of that has been networking. It's been talking with other people who have passion for trying to end slavery or trafficking, and listening to how they go about doing it. And then we did this online survey. The idea out of that, we're only just starting what we really want to do, because that's just getting the background information and building some relationships so that we can then generate some innovative ideas on how we could address the motives and drivers of the perpetrators of trafficking, and having generated ideas, then to test those ideas in the field. So we're hoping over the next stage of the project that we'll actually run some pilot studies in the field that engage with perpetrators in novel ways, and then test whether they actually have any impact or not. So that's still to come.
That's the Zacchaeus project. That was, in the end, that's what we kept going back to. That's the story. I don't know whether you're aware.
No, that's another long story.
Well, but it's good. But it's the same. But that is we looked at this sort of framework of how can we take some action, and the confidence that maybe we have hit an area that is really important, and I just kept going back to the story of Zacchaeus. I don't know if you know the story in the and when Zacchaeus is asked to come out of the tree, and Jesus goes to his place for dinner and chats to him, and whatever they talk about, he changes his ways. He, not only does he change his ways, he actually pays back the people that he could. And we thought something happened there. What was the significant thing that happened there? That there was a personal interaction, and there was obviously a conversation, the fact that they had a meal, there was a sense of intimacy there, a getting to know that person, and then obviously some kind of challenge that, there's a different way to live. Do you really want to keep living like this? Do you live like this because you choose to? Have you thought about what you do? All those sorts of conversations I'm sure happened around that table. And we thought, do the perpetrators, yeah, we put them in jail. Sure, they've got to get off, they've got to stop what they're doing. But do we sit round a table with them? Do we engage with the perpetrator? Do we try and find out why they do what they do? And in a sense, and you've got to get past this this sense of disgust. It really is a barrier, and that's the thing that we've found the most challenging thing talking to people is people go, oh, they deserve what they get, like we don't want anything to do with them. Well, the them are people. They're people as well that are broken, and yeah.
I love everything.
Matt does the research. He does the technical stuff. My heart just goes, I'm going to do something.
But the work that you do, Bella, is so genius in its intricacy, building community, self-sustaining project that funds itself, that goes to support important work. You're very smart to marry this man. He's even more smart to be connected to you.
Exactly.
No, I could give you another long story there. We won't, Celia, but that'll be for a dinner when I meet you face to face.
Absolutely. Right. But look, hey, I bless this union, because this union is going to help humanity in so many ways. The answers to the research projects that you have are critical. They move the knowledge base forward. The community you're building, although local, and that's what I want to talk about. Can someone get access to this coffee?
Yeah.
Well, look, if they're in Australia, they can come and drop in any time, and we'll have a coffee and a long talk with them. So that's
is it possible to order the coffee?
As in the actual coffee beans? Yeah, I'm gonna look into more how we can attach that, because Short Street have already got an online ordering system in place, and then perhaps we can attach some of our work to that as well. We don't roast our own coffee. We buy coffee from a company called Short Street, and we've chosen them because they have the same sort of heartbeat for ethical commercial arrangements with their suppliers, and so that nobody along the line is exploited. And as Bella says, they have a website that you can order coffee from, and they can do international deliveries if people want it. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
And it's great coffee. And that's the thing. It really is. I mean, we have a whole business built on coffee. Some beautiful coffee.
So let me ask you the key question. The key question is, do people in Australia love coffee as much as people in America? Because we certainly do not get our day started without coffee.
It's becoming more and more like that in Australia. It really is. The last 10 years, we happen to get in at the beginning of this growth industry.
But Australians are more particular about their coffee.
They're very fussy.
Oh, okay.
Americans will just have this huge thing that's just full of,
the bigger the better.
Caffeine.
Yeah.
No, but Australians are snobs when it comes to coffee. You want to be more particular about exactly what it is that you drink.
Yeah.
So the quality has to be good too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, and so what's next? What's on the horizon for both of your areas of work?
So in the anti-slavery area, we've been looking around to see who else is involved in this thinking about engaging and dealing with the perpetrator side of the equation. And there's very few who do. There's one that you interviewed on your podcast a few months ago, Austin Choi Fitzpatrick, and he's done some very impressive work, and he's out on his own. There's very few other people who are doing that work. We have found no one that's doing rehabilitation work of people who've been convicted of trafficking offences while they're in jail. There's plenty of prison rehab organisations around, but no one that we found who has any particular program for trafficking offenders. And that means that when they get out of jail, they're quite likely unchanged. So that's an important point where engaging with the perpetrator can lead to significant change. Wouldn't a reformed trafficker who returns to their community to advocate for non-exploitive alternatives be the most powerful driver for positive change?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think that serving And I've worked with a few traffickers just individually, but my community was not happy with me doing that. But don't we serve the same purpose if he wants to change his life and we want him to change his life? Ultimately, we're on the same path, the same mission for him not to reoffend in this way. And so why not? What I find is a lot of victimizers have chosen victimizing instead of victimhood, because a lot of traffickers have been victimized as a child themselves. And I agree. I think they need to, go to prison, serve the time for what they've done. But also they're human beings, and can we help them to get on a different path that serves both of our purposes? This person to be successful doing something else, and not perpetrating and committing more crime against humanity. So, I love the idea.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the important things that you said there too, and we try to use it more and more, is they're people who perpetrate. They are people. They're not we just use the word perpetrator. It's the monster. But if you say they are people who perpetrate, and if any of us are really, really honest, we all carry a shadow side. It may not be that extreme end of using people or exploitation, but we have to all realize that in our human nature, that there's been brokenness, and when there's brokenness, and it can easily get up that end. And I think that's a really important. I don't know. You've got to. That's a ground root understanding of human nature, and I think that's where we have to be so much more merciful in the way we come to the table. And I think you've got to start there with people. I'm not talking about the people who perpetrate, but we've got to start there with us as carers. That real essence of mercy, that we have to start there and then go, sure, there are times when they do have to be pulled out and put into prison. We're not saying that you've got to be lenient there, but we're saying they're still people who perpetrate. Let's deal with the people here. And can we be dealing with them? And are we, as you say, are we victimizing them? Are we scapegoating them in this whole thing as well? And I would love to see, I don't know how it would happen, this is that all those agencies for anti-slavery work have this other component in the picture, because they're already in the field, they're already there. We don't want to start a whole new organization that reinvents the wheel. These people are already doing amazing stuff. The challenge is to get these organizations to actually have this other part of their theory of change. That's where we would, and that's hard. We're finding, like people don't really want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm so glad. Thank you all for being so progressive in your thinking in terms of your community organizing is progressive and your research is progressive, and just reaching out to all human beings. Very progressive. So I'm really so glad that you got on the podcast, because that will remind those agencies that you talk about that are listening right now to consider, if you really want to end it, then you've got to be addressing all the components, and just putting people in jail is not going to be enough, because they get out, and then where's the change?
Where's the change? Yeah. So we're very keen on trying to build community so that there is an opportunity for everyone to flourish. And it is only an opportunity. Some people won't take it up. They won't change. But everyone has to include the bad guys as well. They need an opportunity to flourish. Otherwise, they'll continue being broken and pass that brokenness on to others through abuse and exploitation in all sorts of forms. So we think even if you got rid of all of human trafficking without changing people's heart, you made the laws, the law enforcement so strong that human trafficking stopped. If you hadn't changed people's hearts, well, they'll find some other, perhaps even worse way of abusing the people around them. It's better to go the other way, make the change so that the problem goes away, rather than trying to make the problem go away, hoping that will change people.
Yeah. Oh, that's excellently said. Is there anything that you would like to share with those advocates that are listening right now?
Come talk with us. We would love to talk.
Yeah, look, we've been really impressed with the people that we've met and talked with and engaged with through conferences.
What they're doing. Yeah.
And there's so much hard work that goes in. So we don't want to undermine or question any of that. We want to encourage those people. And one of the goals of our project is to bless people along the way, because there's a lot of people who are having a hard time. It's overwhelmingly psychologically tricky, hard, just difficult to work in this space. And we want to help give people continued energy and self-care, encourage self-care so that they can keep having an impact. But we do want to challenge them at the same time just to think about the areas where they might have blind spots and encourage them to extend their toolkit so that they're not so disgusted at the horrors that people who perpetrate abuse and exploitation against other people, that would prevent them engaging with those people so that they too, as humans, have the opportunity to flourish.
That's awesome. And if people want to get in touch with you because they do want to have a conversation and they want to find out a little more about, what you found out in your research, maybe they would consider, approaching people, and maybe you have some insight that would help them. How can they get in touch with you? Or maybe they want to find out about how do you sustain, how do you develop a social enterprise or any of that type of stuff. How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, the best way is to come to our website, which is www.turningteardropsintojoy.com. And there's a range of information about all sides of our work, about the sustainable social enterprise, the selling coffee, the work that Bella has been supporting in Ghana at the maternity clinic, and the work through the Freedom Keys research project, where we're addressing the human trafficking side. And then they can get in contact with us after that. And we'd love to have a talk. And if they're local, we'd love to have a coffee with them.
Yeah. But even if they're from overseas, I love chatting to people. I have no problems doing that. And I love encouraging people in small business, in starting up sustainable social enterprises. When people come up with these wonderful ideas, I go, okay, well, what can you attach it to that is going to be sustainable? What do you love doing? What drives you to get up each day? And I've got, people come in and go, oh, can I ask you a few questions about how you set your business up? And they're very tentative. And I go, yeah, absolutely. Come and sit down. And, where do you live? How can I help you? We've got a lady up about 5 hours up the coast who came and saw us at our other coffee cart. And she was a bit sheepish again. She said, oh, would you help me? I'm like, absolutely, I'd love to. And she's about to start. It's been about a year process with her. So we're kind of been business mentoring her. And it's lovely. I love doing that. I love empowering other people to start small business.
Yeah. So I would encourage
I'm just
people,
an ordinary person.
I would encourage people to reach out to you. And seems like family. You treat people like family. So it seems like very welcoming. Thank you all so much. I appreciate your time. And I know you're busy, and we're actually recording this on a Sunday. So I thank you for the commitment to come together and do this, and just keep up the great work. It's just really inspiring.
Thanks, Celia. And the same to you as well. I've been inspired by your work, the conference and the podcast and the network. What's the network called?
Yeah, Emancipation Nation Network.
That's right. Yeah.
You gave me a chance to say it.
And just your own. When I first showed Bella the podcast, and she said, "Oh, she's got a lovely smile." That's the first thing we see about you is your wonderful smile and the way that you encourage others along the way too.
It's lovely.
So keep up the great work there, Celia.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much, and I'm going to stop it there, but I will totally come and visit you all when I
Yes, we're great. We'd love you to.
I'm loving the whole loving you guys, what you guys do. It's just amazing. So just
Yeah,
loving the
we're
whole
just,
vibe.
it's very interesting for us. I mean, it is a very small scale sort of thing, but
We're
we
sitting in
figure,
a tiny little caravan, by the way. We've turned this little caravan into Matt's office because we're a bit bohemian, and his office is so intrinsically important. I thought we need to have that mobile, so it doesn't matter where we live. We take his office with him. So, but we are only little. It's a little caravan office, isn't it? It all happens
Yeah.
here.
That's
but
awesome.
it emphasizes the point that to bring about social change, you don't need huge heroes who do all of the stuff.
That's right.
You need a million little acts of heroism, and so we're just doing a couple of those million small acts.
Yeah,
And
I
we're
love
loving
that.
it. We love it. We absolutely love it. And we do have to be careful that we do build in some rest, because we are getting older. I'm 60 now, I'm feeling that a little bit. And we do have to stand and say, okay, well, we have to be kind to ourselves as well.
That's right.
And like longer term, we know we'll have to get some more funding. We'll probably have to get some bigger funding in to keep doing the pilot studies, because I know that I won't be able to do this for the next 20 years. Like I'll need to be released a little bit to help Matt to do the stuff that we want to do in that sphere. But we will, we'll keep the coffee carts all going. That'll give people jobs. That's not a problem. But in terms of funding those bigger pilot studies, that's probably going to be our biggest challenge in the next little while. Is finding some decent money. We've chosen to live simply. We live, just on one wage. That's a choice, but that won't fund.
That works for us.
That works for us.
To
that
run a field pilot study costs
a lot more money.
And,
that's our biggest challenge. Is fundraising. It always is. We do our own little thing here, but that fundraising that brings in the bigger money that will help that. That's another ball game. So we're out there in funding land, and we'd love to talk to anybody who knows.
Well, Matthew, there's always the the Global Association, a lot of potential collaborators there who want to do international work and work across countries, and they have some of those folks have some nice university money. So
there was a couple in the last meeting there who say, I know how to put in applications for funding. Good. We'll talk to you.
Because that could be a really lovely marriage, because we're already doing this other part and it's practical, but we just need that. We will need that support.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you all so much, and I will let you know when this airs, but it'll be a while. We're backed up for some weeks, but it'll be a while, but I'll let you know when it airs. So
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you guys. I'll see you.
And anytime you just want to have a chat with us, give us a call.
because once I start, traveling, I'm definitely coming there, because that's one of the things on my bucket list.
Good.
Good.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Celia. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Okay.
You too. Addressing the demand side of human trafficking, that is so, so important.
Well, demand is half or even more of the problem.
Yeah. And they both obviously have great hearts, but they also are so smart about the work. They bring their unique skills to bear on the issue. So like having a coffee cart, but also educating the people about the issue that buy the coffee, and then using those funds to support research and various projects is just so smart. Then asking research questions that focus on demand so that they can begin to figure out how to change the behaviors and the drivers and motivators. That's just so cool. So they talked about surveying the landscape to find out if existing anti-trafficking programs are even addressing demand. So, just finding out what is currently happening. So they looked at 147 organizations and found 20% used documented theories of change to target the role of perpetrators. And only 27% addressed the motivations and the drivers of perpetrators. So over half directly did engage perpetrators, but without a theoretical framework. So wow, still lots to be done there. But thank you, Matthew and Bella, for going where the light isn't shining and working to illuminate that area where we need knowledge and effective intervention so badly.
Let's not just do something, let's do the best thing. If you like this episode of Emancipation Nation, please subscribe and I'll send you the weekly podcast. Until then, the fight continues.